Hi, Hemant. Welcome to the webinar. We're really pleased to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me, Madison.
First, I'm wondering if you could please tell us a bit more about yourself and Tokio Marine North America Services.
Yeah, so Tokio Marine, which is the parent company, is one of the largest and one of the oldest insurers, global insurers in the world. They are headquartered in Japan. And I'm part of the Tokio Marine North America, which is their international business. And we are a services organization. Um, Tokio Marine is in 46 countries, and a lot of the business that they do is international. And we support, as a services company, we support their international business through IT services. Um, yeah.
Great. Thank you very much for that introduction. The first thing I wanted to touch on today and ask you about is the cloud. So how does Tokio Marine transitioning to the cloud impact your DevSecOps practices?
It's a great question. So if you go to the next slide, um, the it was a big change, for Tokio Marine for transitioning to the cloud. Um, I can go on a lot of things, but primarily it's the three main areas that I would like to focus on. The first one is the shared responsibility for security. So how we manage security changed quite a bit. So it was more of a two in a box type of an approach where TMNAs had to adapt to this new security practices. That is, areas that we control and also the areas that we expect the cloud provider to help with and we rely on. For example, we were focusing on the VPN, the private endpoints, access control, data encryption and transit and REST. And we relied on the cloud providers to provide physical security, network infrastructure, and availability and other things. The other crucial area was the area of change was infrastructure as code. As you know, cloud environments enable infrastructure to be defined and managed through code. This was a new concept for us when we started off. This also allows the security policies and the configurations to be versioned and tested and automatically deployed alongside application code. And here at TMNAs, we use Azure YAML pipelines and ARM templates to build, deploy, and maintain infrastructure alongside application code. So we've also implemented build verification testing and continuous testing pipelines to effectively test and deploy code into the cloud. We had to adapt our testing approach to implement testing pipelines, which trigger alongside the release pipelines to make sure that the code that's deployed to these, to the cloud is whole and accurate. And then the third and one of the more important aspects is the use of identity access management, which everybody calls IAM. So cloud environments rely heavily on IAM for security and TMNAS. And here at TMNAS, we had adopted a robust IAM practice into the workflow. We use Azure AD groups, which are on and which we integrate with the on-prem AD groups. We also follow, RBAC, which is the role-based access and multi-factor authentication with SSO. And we also test our security personas with security controls with different personas and with time-based access, conditional access, and all that stuff. And we have kind of embedded a very heavy-duty quality gates for access controls, which is very crucial for data security and data access as well.
Great. I think that's really great insight and something that's on a lot of people's minds right now as many take on transitioning to the cloud. Next, I wanted to ask your thoughts on how organizations can integrate continuous automation and performance testing.
So this is, the crucial part of this is, it all starts off with the roadmap. I would say that's why I have, you see the roadmap is in the center of this. The reason I say that is that, we've tried this before and we kind of didn't achieve the results. So we basically said, okay, let's start off with a roadmap. And I would strongly suggest anybody, any organization who wants to embark on this journey, to first start with a roadmap. And this roadmap could be a first year roadmap broken down into every quarter what you want to achieve, right? So it starts off with that, and then again, this is a process of evolution, I would say, and is primarily guided by the speed to the market that you want to achieve, right? So first thing that we did here at Tokyo Marine is we worked with the business units, and we basically said, what are those critical applications, critical scenarios, and what are those baseline metrics and SLAs that you want to that you want to measure, right? So once we did that, then the next step would be to actually do a feasibility analysis to understand, okay, this is your landscape, your application landscape, and what are those tier one applications, what are those critical use cases, the business processes that you want to kind of bring into focus and automate, and you start off with that. Then the most important thing that I would think is to invest in tools, right? So we went with the open text functional testing and open text core performance engineering toolset. uh, After doing a lot of research, and we found out that these are the Cadillac of tools that we have in the market. OpenText has always been a pioneer and a leader in on this side, so we went with that. And the great part is that it integrates very well with other tool sets as well. So which was very crucial for us to pick a tool that works across the board from our legacy applications as well as the cutting edge applications like Salesforce, Workday, and other things like that. And then, as following the roadmap, we started to build on what we call as build verification tests, which could actually be integrated into the pipelines. And also some light performance tests, and use these as stage gates within the release pipelines itself, so that you get almost like real-time feedback as the builds are happening and getting deployed, which is very important because these are very small things to start off with, but they have a very large impact, because now you're kind of limiting the blast radius, if you want to call, of any issues that are getting deployed, because you have so many pipelines and so many teams working in parallel. We don't know how that could impact. So this is a very important. I would say this would be the first step to even think of, like, if you want to go more from a maturity perspective, invest in integrating your build verification tests and your performance tests into the pipeline. And the next step is, as you follow through, you're going to build your automation assets and your performance assets over a period of time, and then now you can run a full automation and load test in your model office or any other environment which is fully integrated. And then we also use a lot of third-party monitoring services like Dynatrace tool sets like Dynatrace, Scale Center, Catchpoint, Azure Portal, you name it, which integrate very well, by the way, with OpenText platform. So that we can have one single pane of glass view as to how things are working across the board. So again, I think we've after a lot of trial and error, we kind of fixed on this, and this works really well for us, and we've kind of gone forward and matured our practices all these years now.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing that. I think those are some really great approaches that other organizations might find helpful as they continue to work towards similar goals. And next, I want to talk a bit more about something else that's on everybody's mind, and that's security. Can you tell us more about what strategies Tokyo Marine is using to balance security with performance testing?
Yeah, I think security is one of those really important aspects, which is typically an afterthought in a lot of organizations. And actually, to tell you the truth, right? So we were kind of like that, but then we started to kind of bring this more and more in the forefront, um, the one of the primary things that we did was to, just the way you have functional requirements for building a product, uh, uh, we kind of started off with making a mandate to have non-functional requirements for all new implementations, uh, at Tokyo Marine. So, so what does non-functional requirements for projects contain, right? They contain the security requirements, they contain capacity requirements, performance requirements, scalability, anything that is not functional, right? And these are put together by the enterprise architecture team and the solution architects who are working on that product, that need to be tested and validated before we go live, right? So that is one. So we call them NFRs for all new implementations. So that was put in place. The next thing is, once these NFRs are validated and as part of the project, once it goes live, those become the baselines for all future operational changes that go in for that application. So that would help to kind of make sure that we are on track, or we are kind of validating these continuously, even during the operational phases. The third thing that we did was we kind of looked at the landscape and said, okay, which applications are the most crucial ones, and which are crucial for business, and as well as which have the most risk, when it comes to security. So we kind of organized them, and we organized them in a tier-based system, and we said, anytime any of these high tier, whether it's a business critical application or high risk application, has any changes going in, they automatically get prioritized, to make sure that there's enough eyes, and the security aspects and the performance aspects are validated, right? So a risk based approach, looking at the catalog of applications that you have, and kind of organizing them, would help also mitigate that risk of security. And we started implementing performance tests into the CI/CD pipeline, so you can get feedback early, and often. So that also helps. And also for the security, we have a security ops team that actually does independent risk assessments, based on the risk exposed, and some of those business critical applications. So there's a separate auditing security ops team that's constantly monitoring on top of what we are doing. So it's almost like a two-tier approach that we have, just in case something is missed. They can also be kind of caught by the security ops team. So these are some of the things that we have done, and it has provided very good benefits for us. So yeah.
Thanks so much for sharing those strategies with us. I think security is becoming more and more something on people's minds and less an afterthought. So I really appreciate those strategies. My next question is, what role does embedding security findings in performance testing into the release process play?
Yeah. So they're very critical in delivering software that's secure and reliable. And again, these are one of the two most important but ignored aspects in software delivery within our industry. So security and performance, when you bring them to the forefront and they become highly visible, it helps identify vulnerabilities early, right? So early detection of any performance degradation, that can also happen if you have these performance tests integrated into the pipelines. It also keeps the tech debt in check, and post-release issues. What do I mean by that? As we as we go through the operational aspects of any software, uh, over a period of time, you do kind of build up this tech debt, and that's something that kind of grows out of range after a while. So it's very important to have the tech debt in check, and kind of bringing the performance and the security in the forefront also helps in keeping this tech debt in check. It also helps to validate the solution design. A lot of times we build the solutions and you bring in security and operate and performance aspects later in the game, then it might have a large impact in the solution as well, the solution design. So that might be very expensive because now it's failing the security audits, it's failing the performance audits. So you have to kind of redesign the whole solution. It kind of kind of becomes a large mess to tackle, and a lot of times the solution design has hardened enough that it can be changed. So now it's almost like the business has to is now stuck with a solution that's slow, even though it's on a brand new platform. So it's very important to kind of address these, security and performance aspects as early as possible and look at them through that lens, so that before the solution design is hardened, there's a chance to kind of redo it and kind of tweak it to make sure that it's working really well for all parties. The other thing is it also increases collaboration. When you bring in security and performance early, automatically, all the parts of the IT now starts working towards that. You've put security and performance at the center of everybody's responsibility. So the collaboration seems to have increased quite a bit within our teams. That's what I see. And also, now security and performance is everybody's responsibility. It's not just one team's responsibility, right? So that kind of helps, a lot of collaboration and teamwork. And also, over a period of time, this can become a repeatable process for continuous improvement. It's not like this is a one thing, but it becomes almost like a culture. And that kind of helps to deliver secure and reliable products to the business, which is what we're all aiming for.
Very helpful points. I think I'd agree early detection is super important. And not only is having this proactive approach going to save time and money in the end, but also it helps to maintain customer trust, which is something that is so difficult to get back. So thank you for sharing. My last question for you today is, how can your company ensure high performing services through DevSecOps?
Yeah, we've touched on so many things, so I'll just try to bring in everything together here. So primarily, we have started off with embracing the continuous delivery aspects of CI/CD. So that's what we're focusing on, and it has helped us with very great results. So we want to continue to do that. And again, we talked about the importance of security and performance and shifting left, right, of using security and performance and bringing it to the forefront, bringing it, talking about it early and often. So that's something that we have embraced and we continue to do so. Infrastructure as code, as I said, is a game changer for us. We can, we can immediately, as we deploy our application code, infrastructure can also be deployed alongside it with security and other policies and configurations, which has been a game changer for us. And we want to continue to do that. The Azure Git as one single source of truth. This is something that we have been pushing towards as we speak. Is we have all of these. We have the code in different areas. So we want to kind of push everything into one source of truth, and we're using Azure Git for it. And the adoption of microservices architecture using Azure APIM. This is something that can help with having many applications in the landscape using various versions of services, using microservices, having backward compatibility. So this helps with quickly rolling out software, as well as it doesn't need adoption from various consumers at the same time. So an application that can consume the same microservices but of a previous version and continue to function, and they have the ability to kind of pick the latest version when and as they need to. So that's very powerful for us, for at least for our companies. And also, I can't stress enough about the roadmap. Roadmap uh, has been almost like something, it's almost become a part of the culture where we kind of every year during the start of the year, we basically say, what do we want to achieve? We break down and say, okay, this is how we want to improve ourselves. And we break it down into tasks and we have dedicated effort put on how we want to mature this year. And that's how we kind of have been slowly but surely improving, and we continue to do so. And these are some of the, I want to say, thumb rules that we kind of use at this point of time to make ourselves better and roll out quality products for our customers.
Awesome. Hemant, thank you so much. That was very helpful and I learned a lot. I think our customers will learn a lot too. And it was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you very much.